Hello and welcome to my current AR build for PvE, although it can, I guess, somewhat work in PvP, but it's not really meant for PvP. Shush. You and your get the smell out. Anyway, so let's check out what we got. Currently, I'm running a Demolitionist, but that's only because I still need some points in it. As you can see, I'm almost maxed out on everything. I have my Gunner maxed out. I have my Survivalist. I only need 3 points, so really all I got to do is put that on and go up a level, and that'll be maxed out. Same thing with the Sharpshooter. I only have to go up a level, and that'll be maxed out. But I do still need to get another 12 points in my Demolitionist. And then, you know, even if I don't activate everything right now, that's what we're going for. Now, the nice thing about this current build that I'm going to show you is that this can work with any weapon type. If you want to go marksman rifle, if you want to go LMG, if you want to go AR, I'm currently going AR, you can do this with it, and I'm going to show you how in a moment. So right now, obviously, because I'm using the AR, I'm getting the 15% assault rifle damage. Now again, this is in every skill tree. You can get that. Doesn't matter where you are. You can just choose what you like. I personally like the Gunner for the every third reload is 50% faster, and also the supply line where you generate 10% of your ammo every 60 seconds and your party members get 5%. Now, if you have other people in your group that have this, it will stack. So you'll get both the 50% and the 10% and the 5%, and that works really well. And this actually helps out too. 20% weapon handling while not moving. So from cover, stuff like that. The rate of fire increase on kill for 5 seconds is also nice. And then obviously, if you're running an LMG version, you're going to want to get this large pouch for the extra 50 rounds per magazine. Alright, so let's get into the actual build itself. Alright, for my weapon, I'm currently using a SOCOM MK16. I know everyone's going to say, how come you're not using a custom P416? Because every custom P416 I have sucks. Okay, here's one. $4.99. But I lose 4,000 damage almost. Talents are not horrible on it. Ranger's a good talent, and Accurate is good. I could change that out for Allegro or Extra if I wanted to. But that 4,000 damage, that's a lot. Even with the RPM, that's a lot. If I can get a max rolled P416, custom P416, then I only lose about 158 damage, I think, when I figured it out, which that's nothing. I could lose that, and I would go for the definite. So this one rolled really low. It's just what it is. And every P416 that I have found has rolled really low. Like, see, here's a 496 that does a little bit more damage. I have another MK16 here, another SOCOM MK16. It actually does do almost, 900 more damage, but the talents are crap. The Jazz Hands, I guess, is not a horrible talent. It just makes up for the extended mag. But the Killer, yeah, I don't go for crit. My old weapon used to be this military AKM, which does do a lot more damage. Its talents are not horrible. The weapon handling's nice because this thing does kick. Preservation, that's nice for soloing and, survivability. But right now I'm using this SOCOM MK16. Currently it does 21.1, although it's actually 26.1. But it's actually 26,078 is what it actually does. I have Ranger. Ranger I find nice because you actually are able to control it a little bit better as far as keeping the damage at a certain point. Currently I'm using extra. That gives me a total of 60 in the mag, 61 if I have a bullet in the mag or in the chamber still and I reload. I have to do some math and find out if Allegro is actually going to be better than extra. I'd lose 10 bullets, but it might actually be a little bit more DPS. I'm going to have to... I have to go, like, there's a spreadsheet I can use that I haven't put in for yet, or that I haven't put everything into yet. And the second weapon I'm using is obviously the Nemesis. You'll notice this is only a 490 Nemesis, which is keeping my gear score at 498. But you see at 407.9k, it actually rolled. It's only like 2,000 off of the max. So until the next title update, when they will actually make it so that you can, when you upgrade, instead of having a variable damage amount, it'll automatically roll to the highest. There's no point in me doing this because I can hit 2.1 million headshots, not even crits, but just headshots with this weapon when it is fully charged. So I don't want to lose that right this second. There's another SOCOM MK16. Does more damage again, like I said, but the talents are pretty bad. Alright, getting into the gear. So for the mask, we have a Richter and Kaiser. This gives hazard protection, which... okay. But it has health. And it has a high damage to elites that I rolled onto it. I actually have a higher damage to elites in my stash. But it's 49%. And this one was capped at 45%. So I didn't want to... waste that extra 4%. It also has hard hitting. For my chest, I'm using a Fenris group. Obviously, the reason Fenris group is so good is because it can roll with 2 talents, and it can still have a mod slot. So I have Berserk and hard hitting. I also have 515 skill power. I've re-rolled 14% weapon damage onto it, which is the highest I found on chest so far. And it has 11,138 health. I'm going to say this now. Yes, as a Berserk build, I have 2 low health and 2 high armor. But until I can get... like, if this was a Fenris group, that would actually be great. Because it has the 30,000 health. It has the crit hit damage that I think I could roll that 14% on. It has some armor, but you'll notice that it bumps my health up to 100,000 if I put that on. This one also has a nice amount of health, but it has unstoppable force instead. It's not too horrible with a defensive slot. This one is for my raid. You'll see it has 45,000 health, 6% health, and then unstoppable or unbreakable. And this, putting this chest on actually gets me to the point where I can use unbreakable, and I still get 4.5% assault rifle damage. So I mean I lose 9.5%, but that's not horrible. Now if I could get this one with unbreakable and get the the other 2 slots I need for defense, this would be an interesting one to have, but it doesn't have 2 talent slots, unfortunately. Alright, the holster. So for my holster, I'm going with skill power because I do need some skill power with this build to heal myself. And for cooldown reduction. So I'm using the Wyvern Wear with 803 skill power. I don't really know. Like, this one wouldn't be so bad. But you see I'm using Devastating. And I like Devastating because it's just straight up weapon damage. See, this one has a lot of health. This would actually be nice. Can I move Devastating over to that? I could, but I'd lose so much skill power. It's decisions like this that make it really, really hard to deal with. So anyway, I'm using one with skill power. It's got critical hit damage, which is not something I go for. Devastating, and it has an offensive mod slot, which gives me another 4% assault rifle damage and 2% weapon damage, so that's basically 6% assault rifle damage. My knee pads. I would actually love to use this one a bit more, because it has the patience and the hard hitting. But as of right this second, I'm not really going for it. So currently what I have is a Healer Guard with total armor and hazard protection, 15,000 armor. I'd like to get that to health, but I don't have any knee pads with health. If I could get that with, if I can find a pair of knee pads with health, I'll move that over. And then 2 defensive mod slots along with hard hitting. Now my gloves, I'm also using devastating on them. I'm using a Murakami. Some might say, well, how come you don't use the one with damage to elites? You got to remember that damage to elites is multiplicative. So if you have a high weapon damage and a high damage to elites, which this build does have, you know, it's got pretty good on both. You'll actually do more to elites, and you'll be able to actually hurt the purple enemies too. That's the big thing. So, as you can see, I was able to move a God roll 12%, which is the max for gloves. Assault rifle damage over. It has 11% hazard protection, 8% health, and devastating. It's actually a very nice pair of gloves. And then my backpack. This is where I really need the most work. I need to find one that has hard hitting and vital. Is really what I need. But this one has 17,000 health, 3.5% crit hit chance, which is my crit hit chance, and currently 9% weapon damage, which is the max I've been able to find. I think you can get at least to 10%, if not 11. Also with hard hitting, and 2 offensive mods, or I'm sorry, an offensive and a defensive mod slot. All right, and then for the pistol, I'm just using this mainly for its holstered talent, which is in rhythm. Enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns. This is good if you're, say, in the raid and you've used your reviver hive.
Agent requesting backup.
You can potentially, on a kill, get it back quicker. There are some other ones that are not so bad. I don't think I have any. Overlap's not horrible. Protected reload, not horrible. So, and the reason I keep so many D50s, like these 2 D50s, is in case I ever dismantle my Liberty for the when the next patch comes, I can dismantle this, get the exotic component, and up my Nemesis, and then I can always go refarm the parts for this. So getting over into the stats, we're going to get down. So I do 26,078 weapon damage with a 3.5% crit hit chance, so that's nothing. This is not a crit build, which is why it's not very good for PvP. 32% crit hit damage, 55% headshot damage, minus 10% reload speed because of the magazine, and 10% accuracy. For offense, I have 36% all weapon damage bonus and 45% assault rifle damage bonus. So that makes a total of 81% assault rifle damage. I also currently have 15% for LMG and the SMGs, but that's only because I'm in the demolitionist tree right now. 4% for shotguns, 89% damage to elites, 1% armor damage, and 29% health damage. You'll see I have 41% hazard protection with an additional 20% for burn resistance somewhere. Not really sure where. Skills, I have 1,318 skill power, but my chem launcher is at 2340. My hive is at 2343 because they're equipped and they have batteries in them. So it's not bad. It does good damage. I'm not going to say it does the best damage. There we go. Somebody walked in front of me finally. And I think if I could get a P416 that rolls high, at least 90%, where I'm not losing thousands per shot, that I would definitely switch over to that. This is, not a horrible build, and you can probably hear Mr. Softy going around the street now. But anyway, this is what I have for PvE. It works in the raid. I could even work this build in the raid because I've done it without switching out to that Unbreakable. The Unbreakable would just give me some extra survivability. But like I said, this build is not perfect, obviously. My health is low, my armor's high. I need to switch those around to make Berserk work really well. I want low armor, high health, and health on kill, because that's what will let me do the most damage possible through Berserk and still maintain survivability. But this does do some pretty good damage. I mean, if you sit there and watch any of my streams, you'll see that I end up normally in groups on challenging. I end up top damage or second top damage and top kills or second top kills. More often than not, I end up top damage and top kills. So that's pretty much it for the build right now. It's decent, not perfect, but with luck, luck in this game with its RNG, yeah, okay. With luck, I can switch some things around. Maybe I'll find some knee pads with some health that I can move over. What else? Maybe the same thing on a... Well, no, I can't. Not on the backpack. I don't think I really can move anything over now. Yeah, see. I don't want to lose that skill power, though, because I like the chem launcher heal for when I need it. Just so you know, I'm using the Reviver Hive with 1025 battery and cooldown reduction. And then the chem launcher, I have 44.2% heal with a 1022 battery, which I need to make this work. I do have a higher heal. I have a 56% heal, 56.6, but I need another 500 skill power to make that work. So, again, not the perfect build, but definitely not bad. Can I improve upon it? Yes. I could get a backpack that has hard hitting and vital. That would be excellent. And if I could move that 9% weapon damage over, and if it had health on it, that would be perfect. I could get gloves that have, say, health, and yeah, like this one, 4% health. If it had devastating on it, I would just move the 12% armor over. Or I'm sorry, 12% assault rifle damage over, and it would be pretty much perfect. So I can still do these things. Now, for a compensated build here, again, I could try to make this work, but as of right now, losing 4 reds is going to really hurt me. But really, that's about it. So thanks for checking it out. Oh, and I was saying like how you could adjust this for your build. Let's see, do I have, that's assault rifle. There's LMG. I think in my stash there's 12% rifle damage. 12% SMG damage. I have gotten lucky and gotten a couple god rolls on the damage is. There's shotgun. In my stash, I have like 11 and 12% LMG damage, marksman rifle damage, that sort of stuff. So if you wanted to do that, you could just switch your gloves out, and then anywhere where you have an offensive mod slot, okay, this one does assault rifle damage, but you could find one, assault rifle, there's pistol, assault rifle, and marksman rifle, pistol, rifle, there's some LMG damage, so if you wanted to go for LMG, you could just find the ones that have, it's like this has 4.5% LMG damage total. This one has 6% LMG damage, so if you wanted to go for an LMG build, you would just modify it with this. And along with your specialization, which is going to give you 15% in whatever weapon you're choosing, you can get to this 45% LMG damage if you wanted to. Or SMG damage, like if you're going to be in the dark zone a lot and you're going to be fighting players. Or for shotguns or marksman rifle and rifle, whatever. Or you could even do a pistol build with pistol stuff. It's really all in the mods that gets you up this high, because you're able to increase your damage in all your specializations now, so you're not stuck to one specialization. You can choose the one you want, still get the 15% bonus damage, and then you could use this build to build however you wanted. If you didn't want unstoppable, if you didn't want Berserk and you want to say unstoppable force, you could go with this. You see, you could do it. There's different ways to go about doing it. You can get unstoppable force or Berserk or bloodsucker or whatever, and hard hitting, and still be good in the raid. So it's a very versatile build when it comes to what type of weapon damage it is. The survivability could be a little bit better, and I'm going to be working on that. But other than that, it's a decent build. I do a lot of damage. I don't want to try to figure out my DPS, because the problem is, in the real game, I'm on a console, so we can call this, like the potato aim build. I don't always hit headshots and stuff like that, so it's hard to gain what the actual DPS is in the real game terms. But this is what you get. You get halfway decent survivability. You get a lot of weapon damage and a lot of damage to elites. It evens out pretty well. 81% weapon damage and 89% damage to elites. You rip through elites and named enemies. And, it just works in any sort of PvE content. Can it work in PvP? I guess you could make it work in PvP. You could maybe change to clutch for this and put all your mods to SMG damage and critical, and instead of weapon damage, go critical hit chance. I don't know. I don't PvP. That's my thing. So anyway, thank you for checking out this build video, and I will catch you later. And this is game breaking. My baton is missing. I need my baton. Devs, fix it. It's game breaking.